course, Bible prophecy. We are living in the fulfillment time of Bible prophecy. I firmly believe that these are the, quote, end times. So I just want to show you something that has really come up to the surface here in Hawaii that has become a tremendous concern to many of us in Hawaii. And that is a proposed bill, SB number 3381, to be proposed as law, a legislation in front of our astute government here in Honolulu, our Congress, or for whatever's worth, what's left of it. But we're now looking at a difficult time, because what is happening is that this government, this Democratic-controlled government here in the state of Hawaii, has really made an all-out push to usurp the Constitution of the United States and to take away the rights of all of us people here in Hawaii that reside here. And I don't want to sound unfair, and I don't want to be political on this. I just want to state it as it is. This bill, SB 3381, is proposing the most unbelievable power grab in the history of this country. And it needs a little bit of explanation. And what this bill is proposing basically is that they want to revise the Hawaii statutes, all right, and make this a law in Hawaii, which don't see any way it possibly could stand constitutional scrutiny. But, you know, we are under the Constitution of the United States still, and even in Hawaii. And no matter what political party is in power, they cannot overthrow the Constitution. At least they can try, but they are trying. And it's because of this citizenry here, or not even use that word, but the people living here, they just shrug their shoulders and go on and say, well, these people are more smarter than me, so they must know what they're doing. Well, they don't know what they're doing. And I want to refer back to a work that was a big book in the 1950s, Atlas Shrugged, by an author, Ayn Rand. Ayn Rand was Russian, and she escaped from communist Russia, wrote this book, Atlas Shrugged, talking about so much of what communism does and how it is completely antithetical to the human nature and to the plan for human beings to live and be responsible for themselves and to live a life free of government interference. Well, we are going back full circle. We had escaped the tyranny of England. We had overthrown the king of England in 1776. We established a free country, Declaration of Independence, Constitution of the United States, all of that. And you know the deal, as a famous politician quoted. But I'd like to say, this whole government exercise was freedom of the people, by the people, for the people. And it is a constitutional republic, not the other word that is always used and thrown in. It is not the pure democracy. It is not democracy. Democracy is nothing but mob rule. Democracy does not work. The Greeks found that out thousands of years ago. And democracy allows the public to vote by mass numbers, mere numbers, by just counting noses. The government is free to do and elect and vote for anything they want. And basically, there is no government. It's just a mob rule, the majority rules. There are no restraints on a pure democracy. They can vote to take away your property, your money, your life. Yes, don't think I'm exaggerating. They did that to Socrates. The Greeks literally voted him to be put to death because they said he was giving dangerous ideas to the youth. And what was he teaching the youth? To ask questions and think for yourself. Does that sound familiar? Well, that's what a pure democracy is all about. It's all about manipulating the vote, that where you get if it's a 50-50 split plus one makes that the rule of the mob. They can literally take away your life, vote you to be killed, put to death, take away property. Well, that's where this bill is going. This bill is actually going towards that, and I will explain. Just as Ayn Rand has, and there's a really nice video, I'll put the links to it on the bottom description, but there's a YouTube video, many from the Ayn Rand Institute, but it basically talks about what is the difference between a constitutional republic, which is our government, supposedly, and a democracy, quote unquote. Well, there's a big difference, and as she explains it, the constitutional republic is a limited government, limited form of government, where the government has bounds and restrictions, and its primary purpose is to protect the rights and privileges of the people, the safety and the rights of the people, among which the primary rights are the right to life, all right? We have that in the Declaration: life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. But as she explains it, that the two primary things that we need to live and be happy, we need the right to life, to have freedom to live and not be under threat of killing, force, against our will. And we have a right to private property, to own private property. And all other rights come from these, flow from these, that extend from these. Now, of course, we are very familiar with our Constitution. We should be anyway. But, we're very aware of the First Amendment. Everybody wants to talk about the First Amendment. But, the First Amendment, let me just review a couple things of the First Amendment. These are from the Bill of Rights given us by our Constitution. Well, before I do that, let me just go ahead and give the broad difference now. So the constitutional republic is a government by the people, of the people, for the people, within a framework of an agreed to set of rules, which is the Constitution, and that government cannot go beyond those bounds. Well, that means that people are safe, that their rights are protected by that Constitution if their government obeys that. And it is said to be a contract, a constitution contract with the people. Well, I'm not sure if it exactly feels that, but let's say it is a contract. If it is a contract, then they cannot go outside the bounds of the contract, which protects all the people. And then to have votes, the votes are where we have elections to vote for representatives that then go and vote for our benefit and at our, supposedly our direction, vote on important matters still within the bounds of the constitutional contract with the people. And that is how things are done. Well, this is how we have that, and we have the three co-equal parts of government: the legislative, judicial, and executive branches, all with the checks and balances, supposedly not one superior to the other. Well, this has gone completely off the tracks. Now, let's talk about the proposed supposed democracy. You hear democracy thrown, every other word is democracy, and that we are a democracy. And of course, they like to throw in the Democratic Party into there, that somehow reflects that it's democracy. It is not. But democracy is only this one thing. That means that the majority rule, that there's the number of noses, number of votes counted, that makes the laws. Without any moral code, without any restrictions, without any right and wrong, if the majority of the voters, whatever, elector people can get together and vote on an issue and they get a majority vote, that becomes the law. Well, you can see how that is ripe for all kinds of abuse, miscounting of votes and false elections and other things in a pure democracy. I don't think there's any pure democracy. Maybe Switzerland is something as close to that. But you also would see how impractical that is, how you can call everybody together to vote on every single issue and everything and educate them and get their opinions. It's completely, really unworkable. And our founding fathers knew that. Well, all right, so that's democracy. But now there's something even worse than just pure democracy, where a tyrant can come in and he can say, well, I know what's best, and you all, elected me as your president or whatever, but you know what? I'm not going to bother with asking you. We can't do all of this voting all the time. I will just decide from now on, and I will choose what's best. Well, this is what is called representative democracy. Representative democracy. Remember that term, because you know what? This SB 3381 is a one glaring example of representative democracy being attempt to force down our throat. And if you think that abuses can happen, boy, they can sure happen with representative democracy. That means that an unelected actually commission, now this is what they want to do. This is the proposal, how they want to rebuild Lahaina, is that they say here, let me just read a quick summary, something here. It says, the legislature, okay, that's our, constitutional representatives here of our republic in Hawaii. The legislature finds that the wildfire of August 8th, 2023, we'll say quote unquote wildfire, devastated Lahaina's heritage, economy, and sense of place, and has deeply affected housing, businesses, jobs, and treasured resources. If the area is not rebuilt in a deliberate, coordinated, and expeditious manner, the area may languish in the long term and affect the well-being of the land, the people, and the economy. Notice the land is put first, not the people. However, there is an opportunity to rebuild Lahaina by preserving and reintroducing its valued resources in a manner that reflects the values and priorities of its residents and businesses and addresses future challenges, including, of course, climate change and affordable housing. Boom, boom, let's beat those drums. Okay, the Governor Green loves to play those drums. Accordingly, the purpose of this part is to establish the Lele Community District to facilitate the rebuilding of Lahaina. Okay, well, this district, this Lele district, is going to encompass not just Lahaina, it's going to encompass all the way north to Kaanapali and all the way south, all the way almost to Kihei, and all the way to the mountains and down to the sea. So it's a very big area, much bigger than the Lahaina that was burned down and needs to be rebuilt. But what this is proposing, here we are. What is the most egregious part? Well, it's full of egregious parts, and I won't go through all of those because there are other egregious things to cover. But this is so absurd and completely, patently false and ridiculous, and that they are proposing that they somehow elect a board of 9 people. We'll call them regents. That will make the decisions for all of this Lahaina rebuilding. And this 9-person board will have the power to take land via eminent domain, the force of eminent domain. They can condemn land, they can reappropriate land, they can buy and sell land, and completely unsupervised, completely without restriction, completely with no blanket pre-formed agreement as how far, no limit on their power. So here we're going to just toss the Constitution, boom, right out the window in the trash can. And we're going to give this super oligarch, we'll call the super oligarchs, the 9 people, complete power and discretion to rebuild Lahaina, not just Lahaina, but the whole side, west side of Maui, as they see fit. And of course, I'm sure there will be the perfunctory neighborhood meetings and show trials and whatever else things to look good, but they will have unlimited power. No one can oppose them, and what they say goes. I don't think this is not democracy, which they try to push this off as democracy. This is not republic, constitutional republic. This is not freedom of the people, government by the people, of the people, for the people. This is tyranny. I'm just saying, no, I'm not saying that this is what they planned, but this is giving a blank check for unlimited tyranny, unbelievable corruption, and all kind of wrongdoing and malfeasance, if people so choose to do. And we know human nature is always going to err, seems like always on the wrong side. Well, who's this 9-board oligarch regent board going to be? Well, we don't know that yet, but they will be nominated, and they'll be voted on by the neighborhood board or whoever they create. But you can count on it will be basically whoever's selected and who has the right thinking. But again, they don't know what plan they're going to implement. They don't even have a plan written. They have not proposed anything. We don't know anything. They may build a spaceport. They may build a zoo. They may build a Disneyland. Whatever they want to do, apparently they can do it. They may build a casino. They may build a military base. They may build underground submarine base. Who knows what they're going to do, or a spaceport. But I want to say this is one step in this whole big movement of the Agenda 2020, Agenda 2030, the WEF. All the all the letters and the mantras. You know where this is going and who's pushing it. And Governor Green has not stopped there. Not only does he want to put this through, okay, that they can take land, pay for it with a bond, with bonds. They're going to issue bonds, of course, more government money. Who knows who's going to get hold the bonds, but would like to know also who would hold the property. Eminent domain is all I've known my whole life. It's only when you need to make access to a freeway or a new road or something, the government will have to reluctantly take some of your land. They will compensate you fairly, but it will be used for the public good. Well, how we know what they take all of Lahaina and they're going to build one big parking lot for the public good? No, this is not going to be all public. We know that. Well, so what? They're going to sell this to private people, lease it to private. Yeah, it's all there in this proposed powers. So let's don't vote for that. All right. There's a place you can go. It's called standtogetherhawaii.com. I'll put them in the description. Very nice lady. Is very active to try to help give us a voice in this. You can go and read all about this SB 3381, this land grab, this 9 commission oligarch Marxist commission, right straight out of the history books of Lenin and Stalin. But you can go, and I'm not speaking for her or her organization. I am just doing it on my own. I think they are one very good, active group to voice your objection if you want to. StandTogetherHawaii.com. You can go to that website, read about it, make your decision. If you want to write in, take action, objection, there's ways to do that. I urge you to do that. Not only are they doing that, they also have proposed legislation now, not just to do this, but to give, again, Governor Josh Green, MD. He likes to put that on the back of his signature, MD, which I'm not sure that really means doctor or what that means, but he wants to be given the same kind of power. He wants to be given the complete unrestrained power in an emergency, quote unquote, which actually he alone can declare emergency. We're actually under an emergency now. He has extended the housing emergency and homeless emergency. So he can do this now. If he just wants to do a health emergency, he can do it and declare that. And then if this bill would pass, which it must not pass, he would have power because he's a doctor and he knows best. He can actually, believe it or not, inject you with immunization therapies without your consent or against your will, or quarantine you as he sees fit against your will. Well, this is America. What happened again? No, I guess we didn't learn anything from the last time. And so there were not enough bills and laws to do all of this to us. Now they want to do it anyway. They have that on the books. They want to pass that here in Hawaii. I urge you, please, again, to look up hawaii.gov and check out these bills and make it known to your representative, your republic, constitutional republic representatives, not your democracy representative. Let them know you don't want this. This is the most dangerous, slippery slope again in the road to tyranny and unrestrained power for one man, the supposed governor of the state of Hawaii, to be able to quarantine you, inject you, do whatever with you, just like you are a cow or a horse that has a deadly disease without qualification or review or board to appeal. This is dangerous, my friends. This is dangerous. That's why I'm coming on with this special report. And last but not least, they have a wonderful new proposed bill to legalize marijuana, legalize marijuana. Here in Hawaii. Well, that's kind of like they decide to stop giving speeding tickets at the Indy 500. I mean, it's everywhere, of course, here, but I think it's a bad idea to legalize it and make it now that you can't walk down the street without getting high from all the smoke everywhere. You can't even do that now, but if you go to the beach, you're very lucky to get a little bit of fresh air. And people come with their families, they spend their hard-earned dollars for vacation. I don't think they want to see a bunch of stoned freaks lying on the beach or dangerous people that have come from who knows where. We've gotten an influx of them. Migrants everywhere on the park benches, everywhere you go. We don't need now to introduce recreational marijuana all over the street. I think it needs to be controlled, as well as these other proposals to take absolute power and control away from we the people. By the way, isn't it us that pay the taxes? Isn't it us that actually live here and that these people are supposed to represent and serve? I don't know. Dr. Josh Green needs to check his history in his civics book. I saw his inaugural address to the Senate when he spoke last January. He kept calling himself a leader and saying that all the other people in the room were leaders and they had to act like leaders and that they've been elected leaders. And they were going to lead us into the new, better Hawaii, resilient Hawaii, sustainable. Well, as I read it, they are not our leaders, they're our representatives. That's what representative government is all about. Somebody should remind Dr. Josh Green, being a medical doctor doesn't to give you qualification to be a governor or a leader. And in my opinion, he's neither one. So I probably should quit while I'm ahead, but I'm not going to do that. I just want to say, there's some more evidence that there's a lot of things going on in Hawaii that are not lawful and are not legal. And the bottom line is that we are under we are supposed to be under common law, British common law, coming from the Magna Carta, enshrined in the Constitution, where we have these certain inalienable rights. You know, inalienable means you can't sign them away, you can't put a lien, the government can't take them away. And so these are being trampled all over, just giving you three big examples. But there's one big recourse that we can take, and that is to fight back, and stand up and remind them that there are criminal codes and laws on the books holding them accountable for their actions. Our representatives, our government's representatives, that includes the mayor, governor, elected people, also the law enforcement, the judiciary, the judges, the police, and the sheriff, which apparently we don't have a constitutionally elected sheriff here either in Hawaii or in Honolulu. But we need to straighten things out. We need to shake out the covers here and get all these bugs out of. But there's one thing that we have that's very powerful we can use, and that's called Title 18. It's United States Criminal Code sections 241 and 242, applies to corporate government and corporate citizens. And it says the de facto United States Court for the Hawaii District and subordinate state of Hawaii courts do not honor United States laws except when appropriate for their purposes. And that all these things are being done under what is called color of law. These edicts, these proclamations, these emergency proclamations are done under what is called color of law. What is color of law? The definition, I'm glad you asked that question. Color of law define the appearance or semblance without the substance or of legal right, misuse of power possessed by virtue of state law, and made possible only because the wrongdoer is clothed with authority of state, is action taken under color of state law. And they give a case here, Atkins versus Lanning, Oklahoma. So acts under of color of any law of a state include not only acts done by state officials within the bounds or limits of their lawful authority, but also acts done without and beyond the bounds of their lawful authority. Provided that in order for lawful acts of an official to be done under color of any law, the unlawful acts must be done while such an official is purporting or pretending to act in the performance of his or her official duties. Well, this is a fancy way of saying misuse of power. Well, this is rampant. This is rampant here in Hawaii. We have all these emergency proclamations for emergencies before they even become emergencies. And then when there needs to be action taken, like the National Guard sent to Lahaina to minister to the people, save the people, mercy ships sent by the Navy over there, aircraft carrier, whatever, to house the people, the National Guard to do what National Guards always do in a disaster, except here, is to help the people and provide relief in emergency. We didn't do that. But we have a new commission we were ready to form of 9 people that I'm sure are good friends of a lot of the people here in Honolulu, but they don't care. They don't care about the people of Hawaii. There's lots of money available. I heard one charity has over $100 million. Where is that money to help the people of Lahaina? The governor has a fund, I believe, of over $150 million. So where is that money helping the people? Well, they're making deals right now, and they'll take over your land if you sign away all your rights. But this is not right. This should not be. And I just want to finish up by saying that, you know, they have trying now to slam things through our legislature with so-called emergency. Now, what is the emergency? The emergency was 6 months ago. we need to do now, we need to first we need a commission to investigate what really happened on Maui. That's where we need to start. They keep throwing this onto climate change and wildfire and all these things. It's never been proved. We'd like to know what started, where did the fire start? What was the source of the ignition? It's never been proved. What was taken, what action was taken to help mitigate the fire or to save the people, or emergency actions or protocols that were supposed to be done that were not done. What was the result of them failing to do such emergency actions? All of this needs to be done first in a blue ribbon commission. Maybe we need a congressional investigator. We need somebody to appoint a special investigator. I don't know, but nothing's happening. And they are now just throwing this under definition that they're making up. Climate change is everything now. It's everything blamed on climate change. Let's just say we don't need medical emergency powers for the government or the governor. We also, now they're working on guns. They have another thing working on guns now too, on registering and controlling and shutting down that. That's of course, these are always the big topics of the people on the left that want to take the rights away of the freedom of the American people. The land grab under this whole misdone, represented, ridiculous attempt at overthrowing our republic to put in a quote democracy. And also, they would supersede all other ordinances and laws. So this SB 3381. This is so unbelievably overreaching. I never heard of such a thing. But remember this: you're given life by Almighty God. That is your gift from Him, and your rights as living image, made in the image of God. You have inalienable rights. Our government says life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That means that owning property and running your own business. Well, we just saw in New York a glaring example of another, quote, Democrat operation up there, democracy supposedly in action, to take away the property and the living rights of a man who's a very prominent citizen there without any apparent violation or law breaking or any victim, any harm done to anybody. But anyway, let's just look at one thing. We've been under this wonderful law of our constitutional republic for some 250 years. I don't know if we're going to make it another year. This next election is going to shake out everything. We're going to kick over the rock, and we're going to see what's under the rocks, and it's not going to like what we see. But I think it's time. It has to be done, and we have to flush out the tunnels. We have tunnels here in America, and I just want to say in closing, Israel is fighting for their survival against an enemy that has dug in the tunnels underground in the darkness to conspire to overthrow them and deprive them of their life and their liberty. So we have such type people here in America, and we've opened the borders. We don't even know who all is now, but there are tunnels. There are tunnels in America. There are tunnels in Maui. Probably there are tunnels here in Oahu. Well, there are. We know military has tunnels over there in Red Hill. But I'm saying there's a lot more to that than we know. And there are supposedly underground bases everywhere worldwide. We have the biggest military in the world. We're all over the world. We have the biggest budget, but we cannot defend our own border or protect our own people. Well, I have a friend that just returned from a trip down under to Antarctica. And let me just close while I want to kick over one more rock. But it seems to me that Antarctica is becoming a something way more than what it is. We always considered a frozen wasteland at the bottom of the world. It is becoming now a very popular visiting spot, apparently for the super wealthy, the billionaires and the corporate masters and government oligarchs. It seems there's a lot of interest now in Antarctica, in supposed underground civilizations, underground caverns, former Nazi civilization there, or still leftover Nazis that escaped World War II to Antarctica. All kind of stories. Maybe true. I don't know. Maybe not true. But what we know is that this is becoming more of a billionaires type of playground, it looks like. And only they have access there. There are minerals and great things down there we know are there. It's a matter of time before somebody's going to start grabbing these things. And now Iran, our good friend Iran, of all people, has decided they have a claim to Antarctica. They want now to have a military base in Antarctica. This is dangerous. This is another form of what we are seeing now of chickens coming home to roost. But what do we need now with armed nuclear missiles down at the bottom of the world in Antarctica? It would be easy to shoot close to South America, South Africa, everywhere. But it's again, what are we? Where are we going? What is our purpose here anymore? What is America really for? We lost our way. We've lost our whole plan for our country. We were formed by people that were seeking a land where they could be free, where they could worship God in the way they want to, and live and be left alone and not abused by government. And those were called pilgrims that came over in the 1600s. Well, the first migrants, if you want to say it, but they came here and they laid the foundation and they helped carve America out of the wilderness. We know that America has good people, and I believe in Almighty God, the God of the Bible, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and I believe that there is a purpose still for America, but we're running out of time. We are getting at the end of the days here of history, of this history of mankind, and I believe there's going to be divine intervention very soon to stop the injustice and things that are going on. But we have one last chance for America to repent, America to get back to our good old days, our goodness of America, the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, owning private property, having our own businesses, free from government interference. So please stand up now, make your voice heard, and also take time to pray. Take time to pray and seek the blessing of Almighty God for our country while we still have a chance. Thank you for joining us. God bless you. I will put some of these links in the description, and I thank you for watching. God bless you. Amen. Aloha.